Um, Good evening. I uh I I'm struggling to find my words. Hey, welcome. It's November 6th, Friday night, 2020, 9:33 p.m. My name's Jarrett Earl Casey. I just got home. I went to go to Winco to buy groceries, and there were police everywhere. It was all roped off, and I realized that I couldn't go in, and so I kind of went to get some food. I was pretty low on food in the kitchen here, so oh shit. Well, I guess I'll go to Burger King and I'll get an Impossible Burger. So I tried to head through the quickest way there that I thought, and I went under a police rope, and the policeman yelled at me, but I just wasn't thinking. He's like, "You can't go that way. You can't go that way." I thought, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Um, he threatened to charge me, and then I left. But went to Burger King, and then I walked home and took my love language test, and it looks like my love language is physical touch. Um, so that's cool. I'm not getting much of that right now. Sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I at work today, I got up at 7 instead of 5. Even though I set my alarm for 5, but it didn't go off till 7 for some reason. Did work. Work was good. Went to the gym, worked out my back. So I'll sit up straight, work on my posture. And today in the head, what have we been talking about? Just not a lot, I guess. Although they just it's weird because I've talked before about my addiction that I had for 14 years and how the drug kind of replaced sex for me. I wouldn't even have sex. I would just do the drug, and that was kind of like sex to me. So of course I'm trying to stop that, and well, obviously, I've been 6 months clean. And before, when I would get clean time, I would never. This is personal, but what isn't, right? I would never touch myself for months, for like both times, the 7 months. And then my relapse would always coincide with that also. So I'm at 6 months now, and I'm trying to prevent a relapse connected to like maybe some built up sexual frustration. So I'm trying to just do that every once in a while, like not very often. But these voices in my head keep telling me that I can't do it because they want me to live to LDS standards. And I keep saying, well, I'm 36, I'm single, I'm not LDS, and there's literally nothing wrong with doing that. It's completely natural and normal, and it's not like I do it all the time. And for me, I'm trying to like reintroduce myself to my body because I've gotten so, and to just being comfortable being a human being with a small, sorry, like a very minimal component, like sexual component to my presence here on Earth, but it's still there, and that's okay, and that's can even be celebrated. And eventually, I'd like to be in a relationship, and I'd like to feel comfortable with my body, and um, yeah. So they keep telling me that actually, this man told me that if I do that, that he might have me raped. That's what I just heard like 5 minutes ago. So I'm like, I don't know what these crazy people are that I'm dealing with. Um, he said he would just have me awakened the old-fashioned way, is what he said. And of course, they're saying that I'll be, they're just so crazy. And actually had someone come in and say, sexually repressed societies do not awaken very well. So you should allow Jarrett to just be a human being where he's at, and just if he wants to take a couple minutes to himself, then he's allowed to do that, and that's part of life, and that's pre-approved, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and he should not be punished or have any blessings from his life withheld from him for any reason in any way because of that. And I agree, because it's just totally normal. And so I don't understand why people make such a big deal about those things. It's very dangerous and unhealthy, and can be very damaging to people's minds and to their emotions, um, and so, and I'm trying to heal that stuff. So, but anyways, I decided, okay, well, I guess I'll just keep going how I am, but I do still want to communicate that if I ever choose to do that for a couple minutes, then it's okay. That's totally fine. Here I am talking about it on camera, right? So it can't be that bad. But it is awkward to talk about, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. But I just wanted to, that was just literally going, this conversation was just happening. So I told you I have a appointment with the trainer tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. It's free, and I'm sure they'll try to get me to sign up for something, but I don't know if I'll be able to afford to. I did decide though, because I'm waiting tables on the weekends, and so that money was supposed to be kind of my bonus money. So I figure I could maybe afford like 1 day a week, depending on how much it costs. So we'll see when he sits me down, but I might get a trainer for 1 day a week. And I did order some creatine today. So I've got what's that called? Protein shakes, and then I'll be doing that creatine, and then I went to the gym 5 days this week, so I'm very proud of myself, and it'll be 6 days tomorrow. So I just want to keep that going, because I'm definitely noticing changes in my body, and it feels good. So yeah, so that was my day. Other than that, it was fairly, I just tried to stay focused. Oh, we had this really great at work. We had a half-hour meeting with veterans, honoring veterans that work for health equity, and it was really cool. It was really, really cool, and it got me actually fairly emotional. And there was just a lot of experience and a lot of emotion that I was picking up during that call, and so it was really powerful. And I definitely very much appreciate all the people who offer their lives into and up for service, in the spirit of protection and in the spirit of peace. And there's so many people in the service and in the military who've done exactly that. And so I'm just so grateful for each and every single one of them. And it's especially a sacrifice in times of war. And so I'm so grateful for people who are able to fight through those things and stand for freedom and for liberty. So thank you. Sometimes in my mind, I've been very critical of the military. I have these experiences from my past that sometimes make certain aspects of of my perception of the military a little scary, but some things like that really help. Um, and So that was really powerful. And so, anyways, I wanted to say that. Um, so let's go ahead and read, and then I'm going to have a protein shake, and I'm going to go to bed. Oh, okay. So this is chapter 8, The Journey Back. And this is section 1, The Direction of the Curriculum. Okay. So knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. Pieces. This is the prerequisite for knowledge only because those who are in conflict are not peaceful. And peace is the condition of knowledge because it is the condition of the kingdom. Knowledge can be restored only when you meet its conditions. This is not a bargain made by God, who makes no bargains. It is merely the result of your misuse of his laws on behalf of an imaginary will that is not his. Knowledge is his will. If you are opposing his will, how can you have knowledge? I have told you what knowledge offers you, but perhaps you do not yet regard this as wholly desirable. If you did, you would not be so ready to throw it away when the ego asks for your allegiance. The distractions of the ego may seem to interfere with your learning, but the ego has no power to distract you unless you give it the power to do so. The ego's voice is an hallucination. You cannot expect it to say, I am not real. Yet you are not asked to dispel your hallucinations alone. You are merely asked to evaluate them in terms of their results to you. If you do not want them on the basis of loss of peace, they will be removed from your mind for you. Every response to the ego is a call to war, and war does deprive you of peace. Yet in this war, there is no opponent. This is the reinterpretation of reality that you must make to secure peace, and the only one you need ever make. Those whom you perceive as opponents are part of your peace, which you are giving up by attacking them. How can you have what you give up? You share to have, but you do not give it up yourself. When you give up peace, you are excluding yourself from it. This is a condition so alien to the kingdom that you cannot understand the state that prevails within it. Your past learning must have taught you the wrong things, simply because it has not made you happy. On this basis alone, its value should be questioned. If learning aims at change, and that is always its purpose, are you satisfied with the changes your learning has brought you? Dissatisfaction with learning outcomes is a sign of learning failure, since it means that you did not get what you wanted. The curriculum of the atonement is the opposite of the curriculum you have established for yourself, but so is its outcome. If the outcome of yours has made you unhappy, and you want a different one, a change in the curriculum is obviously necessary. The first change to be introduced is a change in direction. A meaningful curriculum cannot be inconsistent. If it is planned by two teachers, each believing in diametrically opposed ideas, it cannot be integrated. If it is carried out by these two teachers simultaneously, each one merely interferes with the other. This leads to fluctuation, but not to change. The volatile have no direction. They cannot choose one because they cannot relinquish the other, even if it does not exist, and gives them no rationale for choice. The total senselessness of of such a curriculum must be fully recognized before a real change in direction becomes possible. You cannot learn simultaneously from two teachers who are in total disagreement about everything. Their joint curriculum presents an impossible learning task. They are teaching you entirely different things in entirely different ways, which might be possible, except that except that both are teaching you about yourself. Your reality is unaffected by both, but if you listen to both, your mind will be split about what your reality is. Okay, so every response to the ego is a call to war, and war does deprive you of peace. So anytime we're in attack or war or conflict, we're depriving ourselves and whoever we're attacking of peace. Although, if they are truly peaceful, we can try and attack them, and we're not actually depriving them of peace because they're so true and non-threatened that we're really just attacking ourselves. So we're still depriving ourselves of peace, but they are still in perfect state of peace. Whereas other people who also attack, if we attack them, we're depriving ourselves of peace and we're depriving them of peace, although they're also depriving themselves of peace because they are also attacking or in conflict or upset. And so, how can you be with something that you're depriving, that you're giving up? You're saying, I don't want peace, I'm going to attack. I don't want peace, I want conflict. So now you don't have peace, right? So we've all been there. I'm like, oh man. So of course, learning is aiming at change, and that is always its purpose. And he asks, I apologize. Are you satisfied with the changes your learning has brought you? And so, for me, I think back over this life. Yes, especially through my addiction for 14 years. I've learned a lot, and I'm very happy with I have two jobs now, and I'm paying bills, and I feel I'm eating well, and I'm working out, and I have my cat, who I love so much. So I'm very happy with those outcomes from that learning. It's difficult because my whole life I feel like people were waiting for me to get better or to reach out for help. And I think they were waiting very patiently. And then, right as I finally got better and started asking for help, they went back and said, what I'm hearing is basically it's too late. You had your chance. We've been waiting for you to do this your whole life. And then we finally gave up on you. And then you finally did it. It's like, okay, well, thanks for telling me that in person. Crazy asses. So not that I'm attacking them. I just don't understand this world. Because it's so non-communicative. It's very you should have known, or very well you should have done this, or you should have known this, or it's not our fault that your family never told you about this, or that you were too stupid to figure it out for yourself, or that even as you're figuring it out now that you have fundamental differences in understanding of what these things mean, and until you basically sell your understanding completely to ours, then it's all your fault. We waited for you. We were very patient, not as patient as God or Christ, but patient for an impatient world. And this is very much an impatient world. Um, and I don't understand that world. I don't come from this place. I mean, I was born here, obviously, and I've lived here many times. But this, I'm not from that place that tells people that it's all their fault, um, or um, that the greatest love there's ever been, that the kingdom of heaven wants people to be lost or confused or denied or or to exist in darkness or a vacuum of education or information or care or honesty. And this is a very dishonest world. It's very disheartening. And I'm in no way attacking. I just wish that, and it's so hard because now I'm part of this world, right? And I know that to return home, I need this world to want to return home with me, to no longer try and single people out and blame them, or um, keep information that would lift people out of darkness for themselves or for only certain people, um, or to want to just sit and point fingers and settle upon sentences for people who are just trying to do the best they can. Um, so I hope that gets better. Because doing those things to people, not that you're doing it to them, but making those decisions for your brothers and sisters, um, is a concept so alien to the kingdom that you cannot understand the state that prevails within it. So I'm very pleased with the outcome of my learning. It seems like there are a lot of things that I know could be better. But from my learning, I'm very pleased with the outcome because I feel much more confident in knowing the truth. Now, of course, I would love to see that expressed more in my world and to watch that world transformed around me, and of course, my life within it. But and I think that will still happen, or that's still possible. But what can you do? So we'll see. We'll see. What can you do, right? We were talking about that earlier today. Not what can you do, right? But what can you do? Like, what can I do? What can we do, right? Um, so I'm not unhappy, although yesterday we did talk about how the only environment we could ever be truly happy in is the kingdom of God. So if you take that truth, then I guess I am unhappy here, right? Because I'm not in the kingdom of heaven here, or I don't seem to be. Um, and so I guess if we take that, then the change in curriculum is obviously necessary. We need to change direction, shift into love, right? We were talking about that yesterday. And we need to be consistent because we're told here a meaningful curriculum cannot be inconsistent. So we need to be much more consistent in that, in forgiveness, in non judgment and non punishment, in acceptance and love and equality. We need to be more consistent in that curriculum. And that means that it is applied to all people equally, no matter their socioeconomic status or their gender or sex or sexual orientation, the color of their skin, their religion, or what they seem to be struggling with right now in their life, how much money they have, or what amount of influence they hold. Um, it doesn't matter. That curriculum of love and acceptance and forgiveness and non-judgment and non-punishment and real actual patience, and of course urgent action and engagement and involvement and education, and extension, should be equally applied to all of those people. And that's a tall order, when compared to the hole in the ground that is offered to this world by its leaders today. So if you can find it in your heart, which is the only place that you can find it, although you will discover that it is also in your mind and everywhere around you, to choose that curriculum, then you will no longer need to be trying to learn from two teachers, the other being your insane ego mind teacher, which is this um, consequence, um, tiered, classist, punish and reward based teaching system, which leads to so much upheaval and frankly great loss of life and opportunity, and peace. So I pray that we all can choose more correctly which teachers we're trying to follow, and whose advice we're more willing to take to heart. And if you see the truth of someone who's trying to teach you something, the truth of what they're telling you is the teacher you're choosing. And you help that teacher by choosing the truth of what they're trying to teach, not by discarding truth because they aren't yet a perfect teacher. And when you do that, your mind will no longer be split. You'll be solidly choosing the mind of God. Okay. Well, tomorrow we have section 2, the difference between imprisonment and freedom. So that'll be a good one to read. And I love you all, and you have a great night. Bye.